Well, I guess that's it then. What with that broken and the ashtrays being full, I think the old bus is about finished. Time for something new. Thing is, what if you're lucky enough to be thinking, well, my Porsche is just too sensible for me now. I fancy something with a bit of Italian flair, like a Ferrari. But you still want to do the miles. Do that in a Ferrari and pretty soon you'll spoil it. But I've got a good idea. Now, Mark, this has set me thinking, right? Maserati. Last week I was driving the gorgeous new Spider, and they said that Maserati, kind of unlike a Ferrari, which is a toy car, can be used every day, a bit like a Porsche. Isn't it true? Can they?
Yeah, definitely. The car's designed to be an everyday car, but with true Italian flair and passion.
So you get that everyday usage, but you still got, because I mean, it's still the name Maserati, that carries a bit of clout.
Yeah, it's steeped in history.
Really? And does that still draw people to it, just the name?
Absolutely, yeah. And coupled now with the Ferrari input, the cars are just fantastic. They're a sensational car to drive. The coupe has filled a real market gap. You've got 2 usable back seats. The car's a 370 brake horsepower car. It's a real exciting car to drive.
You could use it every day.
And you can use it day to day.
Now, I'm after a second-hand buy.
Sure.
Now, there are second-hand cars, and you come to a place like this surrounded by exotica and start talking second-hand. They are on the market, though. I mean, it's been out since, what, 99?
99, yes.
So they're around. Kind of money are we looking at?
You're going to pick an early car up from mid-30s through to new. Manuals are starting around the 60,950 bracket. The autocar starts at 62,950. Typical used car like this one we stood next to, for example, which is a 2000X manual car, you're going to pay probably just shy of £50,000 for that car.
And people are very happy to do that. I mean, there aren't many in the country anyway, but those that are selling quite nicely.
Oh yeah, no, we have no problem at all with good quality used second-hand cars.
Well, as always on the programme, there's no good just standing here talking about it. We've got to have a drive of the thing. What's it going to be like to drive as an experience? Is it anything like a Ferrari?
It's different to a Ferrari in the way that you do have the feel you can use it day to day. But it's a true sense of occasion every time you get in the car. So it's the kind of car that after you've owned it a week, you're not going to be bored. You're going to want to get in the car. You're going to want to go to the shop for your wife, pick up the newspaper, do whatever. Just the experience of getting back in that car and behind the wheel. It has a tremendous presence on the road. Brilliant car to drive. You'll enjoy it. Let's go and try it.
Now, who's buying, Mark? Because I've got this vision of a Maserati customer being, for a start, quite a lot older than, say, Porsche customers. Obviously, they've got a few quid because they're cheap.
Yeah.
And maybe fairly discreet. Am I a million miles away there?
Not a million miles away, but we do get a good crossbreed of customers. We get quite young, affluent guys, you know, perhaps come from the internet, the computer-based industries.
When you say young, what sort of age? Like
from sort of 25
really?
bracket, yeah.
But they can't remember Maserati.
Yeah, but perhaps, you know, bear in mind they have got a fantastic history. You know, I remember my father talking about Maseratis when I was a child. The guys that are perhaps accountants, they're in that perhaps sort of industry, they open the Sunday Times, they see a Maserati ad, they come into a dealership like ours, they see it parked with Ferraris, and they're like, this is a product I should be looking at. So yeah, we do get the young guys. At the same time, we get the guys who are, you know, high-level businessmen looking to use them as a day-to-day company car. We get the guys who remember Maserati of the past. The kids have perhaps grown up. They want a good, fun sports car, but they don't want to go perhaps as wild as a Ferrari 550. The car does have a good crossbreed of customer.
Here's where I can really scare you then, or where maybe you can really scare us. It's a supercar, right? Even if you can get into one second-hand for the kind of money of an executive saloon, it is a supercar.
Sure.
So, supercar servicing, presumably.
Well, actually,
frightening.
That issue isn't a big issue. The servicing is actually very, very reasonable. A new Maserati at the moment, or really from date of registration, come with a 3-year fixed cost servicing plan. The car has a 12,000 mile service interval, or an annual service, and a service will cost you £600 including VAT.
Crikey.
So you know exactly where you stand from day one.
Oh, right.
Once
I
the
thought
car's...
there might be a bit of a fright waiting for you.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, it's again, Maserati were mindful of the fact that they want people to go out and use these cars as a day-to-day car. They don't want people to be frightened away by huge, massive service bills.
One real thing in its favour, some cars, and we are in supercar territory, it's a Maserati for crying out loud, are a bit intimidating when you get in to drive away, and you do feel a bit, particularly if there's the guy who owns it sitting next to you. But this really isn't intimidating, is it? You actually can just jump in this and tool around in it quite happily without feeling the need to use all that power or feeling threatened by it.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, a lot of customers do get in the car. They do feel a little intimidated when they first get behind the wheel, but within minutes, you can feel at home in this car.
And it does have that neat trick that all good sports cars have, which it shrinks around. You don't feel that it's going off into the horizon on every corner. If you're in the position, lucky you, of looking to buy one of these second-hand, do you have to be very careful about mileage? They're very mileage sensitive.
Obviously, a car will be slightly mileage sensitive. We do have one or two customers who do the sort of 20 to 30,000 miles a year bracket, but I must admit that's not the norm. Most of our customers are perhaps in the 10 to 15,000 mile a year
Which
bracket.
is fair enough. I mean, that could be every day for some
But
people.
that is, for a lot of those guys,
Not
that is
for me,
everyday
but
driving.
some people. So, Mark, what we're saying is, you get kind of Ferrari Exotica and sheer fanciness. But then you've got 4 seats, so it's quite practical. These are excuses for bank money. And you can pretty much use the thing every day as you might a 911. Do you know, I'm tempted. I'm really tempted. So tempted, in fact, that I'm going to keep my old bus because I can't actually afford to change it right now. Still, anyone know where I can get a cheap Porsche 911 headlamp? Or somewhere.